Hello. Over the next few minutes, I will demonstrate the GenAI Pro chat interface developed by Ramsey International. First, we'll log in to the chat, and this is an optional feature. You can turn off the login, but we do recommend, depending on your organization, to use login so that you can then set the appropriate access privileges. So this is the main screen. In the upper left hand, you can see the RI GenAI Pro chat title that's configurable, can be changed to whatever you would like it to read. And right below that is a status bar, which will update on all of the steps that we go through in order to interact with the large language model. At the bottom of the screen is the area where questions are entered. The main canvas of the screen is the interaction that we will have with whichever large language model we select. And in the upper right-hand corner are the icons that allow us to enable some of the optional features. So this first icon is for the administrative dashboard. The second icon is for the profile page, which we will use to change the models that we're selecting, change things like personality and so forth. And then the last icon is to log out of the solution. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what is a modern data management platform? Or what is a modern data platform? And you'll see in the upper left that as soon as I press enter, it first checks the validity of the question, then checks the standards, goes through and retrieves augmented information, and then finally passes that on to the model, which responds. And you can see that this all happens very quickly, but there's a number of steps, like we described in our overview, that the process goes through to really provide confirmation for the organization that the questions that are being asked abide by ethical standards, they're valid, and then really eliminating hallucinations by using embeddings that are very relevant to the question. So you can see that was answered. The next thing I'm going to do is click on the profile icon. And this will bring up the profile screen. This allows us to pick which personalities we would like to use. So for example, I can pick, here's one that has SEC 10K information. If I hover over the personality, it shows me what a description of that, how many sources and so forth. If I scroll down, here's a couple different organizations with data. Here's the modern data. This one has over 800 sources, almost 3,000 embeddings. This personality is based on the MIT CDO IQ Symposium. So there's a lot of different personalities that we have here. In this particular case, I will select the SEC 10K. I am able to select multiple personalities, and as we described earlier, the personality really helps us organize the data that is available to answer the question for the model. In this particular case, the OpenAI platform is selected. I can pick a number of platforms. I'm going ahead and just leave it at the OpenAI. I'm also able to pick a number of the models. The GPT-4o model is the most recent and most advanced model available from OpenAI. The next area is around the response length. And so this is, do I want concise responses, more detailed, comprehensive, or exhaustive? And if I hover over, I can see that a detailed is up to 5 sentences, comprehensive could be paragraphs, and exhaustive can be multiple paragraphs. I'll leave it at concise now. The other option that we have here is the creativity from the model. Exact, it will provide exactly the same response in the exact same way from the content provided each time, whereas brainstorming really opens it up to be extremely creative. And so this gives us a selection. In this particular case, I'm going to leave this on guided. I also have the option to turn history on and off, and history really is if I want to be able to have interactive conversations with the model and include the past questions and answers, I can do that. By doing that, it limits the amount of content that can be provided. And so I'm going to leave history off. Functions allow us to provide real-time connection to it. I'm going to leave that off as well. So in this particular case, what I've changed is really now our source is the SEC 10K financials for 2023. I'm going to update the profile. And at this point, I can ask a question such as, please describe the financial results for BMS in 2023. And so this will use the documents that are in the SEC. You can see here that it's providing 45 embeddings in order to answer that question. And then quickly takes that information. The Bristol-Myers Squibb 10K is about well over 100 pages. So this has taken in those different components, organized it, and delivered it in a summary for us. So that kind of gives you a sense. I can also select multiple personalities like we talked about. The other interesting feature is this first icon down at the lower part of the response copies the response. So it's a little clipboard. It copies this response so I can paste it into another application like Word or something else. And the icon just the next to that actually shows me the sources. It shows me the different sources that are available that were used in answering the question. So those are two quite useful capabilities of the solution to be able to work with other applications. I wanted to then quickly show just a high level of the administrative console for the solution. And this is where the administrators of the solution really have the ability to customize the look and feel of the overall application. This high level is the dashboard. It just shows the questions that were asked today. And when I'm recording this video, this was the only question that I just submitted today. This is a new month, so it's showing there were just a couple of questions submitted in the month. And then the lower part, it shows the top 5 users based on the overall questions that have been asked to the system. Observability gives us the opportunity to interactively create reports, and it uses a dashboard or a pivot table type of an approach. So you can see in this particular example with the history that we have in this instance, there's 764 questions. I can easily just bring the chat model over to this pivot table, and it shows me which models have been used to answer questions in those 764. So this is very, very powerful, and allows deep and very granular analysis of the usage of the environment. Settings is a way for us to customize the solution. So you can see this first screen, the models screen, is where all of the keys are located. Those are all masked to prevent unintentional disclosure. There's also a retrieval page that allows us to configure where the vector information is stored and how to retrieve it. There's also many other application settings. So you can see here, this is where the title information is captured, and turning on and off a number of capabilities. Remember that all of the GenAI Pro customization is done through configuration. This is a no-code solution, so all of the configurations are done through these screens. There is no code that needs to be changed in order to customize the solution. And then this also gives us an ability to edit groups and so forth. And so that gives you a very quick overview in just a minute or so of the overall GenAI Pro solution, and specifically the chat interface. Thank you very much for joining.